I arrived at Stanford as a little undergraduate in 2007, and I graduated in 2011. And then now, 7 years later, I'm back at Stanford in the medical school. I grew up in Polson, Montana, which it's a pretty small town, and it's on the southern tip of a big, beautiful lake. And it's not too far from Glacier National Park, so it's all beautiful mountains, it's in a valley, there's this giant glacial lake. I learned how to ride a horse, saw rattlesnakes and antelope. I feel tremendously lucky to have grown up there. To be honest, when I was considering applying, I did not think a place like Stanford would accept me. It seemed really intimidating to apply, and it also seemed catastrophically expensive. I was so shy and afraid that I wouldn't get into these schools that I was applying to that I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell my mom. It seemed impossible, and I didn't want to be embarrassed that I had dared to try. Good boy. I remember opening this email and it had music and palm trees, and I remember seeing Stanford, and I remember, you know how you can kind of read the subject line a little bit first? I couldn't even look. I was too scared, and I clicked on it and music started playing and palm trees were dancing, and I thought, it's probably a good sign. I could not believe it. Yeah, I still really can't believe that. It was a great moment. I was shocked that I got in, and I was even more shocked that it was almost free for me. And it cost me less to go to Stanford than it would have to have gone to my state college. My major was art studio, which at the time was a little bit unusual at Stanford. I had this world-opening experience where I learned about things I never knew were possible, and I got a chance to take part in a life that I didn't think I could have. I had the chance to go abroad to Florence. I lived in this family's attic, and if I stood on my toilet, I could see the view of the Duomo. That was covered in my scholarship too, even the plane ticket to get there and to get back. I worked as a letterpress printmaker after I graduated from college because I knew that I wanted to have a life that was creative. So I made fancy wedding invitations, but my grandma got sick with leukemia, and I moved in with her to help take care of her as best I could. My grandmother is absolutely the reason I ended up in medical school. When I was scared to go to Stanford for the first time, she said, "Jenny, you're not better than anyone else, but you're just as good." And I, for a long time, had been interested in medicine, but I just didn't think that I was smart enough to go to medical school. And she said, "Absolutely you are, and you should start doing it now." And I enrolled in a post-baccalaureate pre-med program shortly after she passed. My access to education has meant that the world has opened up to me. Like medical school, when I wanted to make that career change, I had Stanford standing behind me, and I felt like I could do that. I think that I'm living the life of my dreams in a very real way. I hope to get to be a physician, and that is due to Stanford's belief in me and their investment in me. Not only have I had one chance at world-class Stanford University education, I am now in medical school at Stanford Medical School, which I'm so proud of, and I have a full scholarship there as well. I can't imagine being luckier than to have both of those opportunities in the same lifetime.